Well, it's been nearly a year since that last few scenes of Star Trek Picard Season 3. You know the scenes I'm talking about, where we celebrate the fact that our old friends are back together, and, well, that other scene right beforehand, where we see Captain Seven taking the helm of the Enterprise G with her faithful commander, Number one, Rafi Musiker, and of course that ensign, special counsel to the captain, Jack Crusher. And immediately, as fans, we thought to ourselves, yay, we're going to get another Star Trek show. After all, who would put that at the end of a series and not actually, plan on making another series? Well, it would seem Paramount does that. You see, while the writers, creators, actors, everybody involved with Picard and possibly Legacy, we're excited for that next chapter. There are some things going on behind the scenes that have really held up that decision, that final wonderful decision to actually create Star Trek Legacy. So in this update today, I'm going to talk about what's been holding up that decision, two big factors that I'm aware of, maybe making a huge difference on the announcement of Star Trek Legacy being created. I'm also going to go over the initiative, Letters for Legacy, trying to make sure that fans are involved and have a voice and hopefully can sway Paramount into actually creating this series that they hinted at. And finally, I'll let you know how my mission to get as many signatures on letters at a convention coming up is going. Now, this is not the Star Trek Void. We will be getting a new update with that tomorrow. Today, I needed to do a little something different and discuss Star Trek Legacy, how we got to the point of thinking that there was going to be a series, and why we haven't heard about it yet. We're going to start with that. And so, why haven't we heard about anything happening with Star Trek Legacy? Well, whatever momentum they had planned on having with the release of Picard and the playing out of the series itself kind of lost with that strike. Now, as you know, if you've watched this channel at all, I completely supported and still support our actors and writers being paid. Strike as much as you need to get what you deserve for entertaining us with these great shows that we adore. But because the actors and writers were on strike, at times that they would normally be promoting their work, they had to stay silent. And really, it kind of became fans' jobs to keep the discussions going about Star Trek Picard and eventually Legacy. Now, again, when Picard was finished, that strike was still going on. And that's when I met my friends at Letters for Legacy and was told that while it seemed like it was going to be a foregone conclusion, this brand new series, because there wasn't going to be that promotional aspect, things were now in question. And once that strike was over, well, guess what? Another problem pops up its ugly head, and that's Paramount's uncertain future. After that first thing that slowed things up, the strikes, there's the second thing, and that's the business end. The future of Paramount, Paramount Plus, and by extension, Star Trek is up in the air as we wait to find out which of three major bidders are going to be purchasing those stocks up for grabs. Now, a quick review, those three businesses competing for those stocks are Warner Brothers Discovery, Skydance, and the Allen Media Group. All three companies have their downfalls and possible perks as far as the future of Star Trek goes. However, with the number of Star Trek projects already in creation and on the minds of those who would be creating them, it hasn't necessarily been prudent to greenlight Star Trek Legacy. And so that's why it's been up to fans and groups like Letters for Legacy to keep the discussion going about this series being created in the near future. And the Trekkies, they have been busy. Ever since the end of Picard, we have seen Star Trek Legacy posters created by fan artists. Star Trek Legacy is often trending on social media, and fans have even gotten together to try and come up with storylines, possibilities for this series. Now, for me, because I have this channel, I've had the opportunity to discuss Star Trek Legacy at length, discuss it with another YouTuber, discuss it with fans in Letters for Legacy who are working towards ensuring Legacy isn't lost in the abyss of who knows what will happen to Paramount. The problem is, not every fan is aware that this series is a possibility or that it might be on the verge of never happening. And this is where we, as fans, can make a huge difference. You see, while we're trying to make sure that Star Trek Legacy trends on Twitter, Instagram posts going out regularly, discussing why the actors want to do it and how great the series could be, all which make an impact on Paramount Plus, especially when they're tagged in said posts. There is another tangible way that we as fans can contribute to the decision making for Paramount, which will hopefully result in this new series. And that is to write a letter. It's kind of a lost art these days. We write email, we write text. We don't really write letters. Whether you type it or sit down with a pen and paper, the point is there is actually paper within an envelope that needs to be opened and read. And that's what the initiative created by Letters for Legacy is all about. It's about us fans putting our name at the bottom of the letter and getting it to Tom Ryan, who is the CEO of Paramount Plus and who makes a lot of these streaming decisions, so that he can see just how passionate we are about this show. Now, as I said, a lot of people just aren't aware that Star Trek Legacy is a possibility. But when they hear about it, they're very excited. And so many of us in Letters for Legacy are headed off to conventions and trying to get people in real life, face to face, discussing Legacy, signing one of our letters, and hopefully passing on the idea to other Trekkies they know. Now, I saw this initiative work firsthand when I was in Las Vegas last year and met Sean and the Letters for Legacy group for the very first time. Ever since last August, I've been trying to do my best to help spread the word. And with a Comic-Con convention coming right here to my state, less than an hour and a half away, well, I had to try to get there. This is made a little bit tricky since it's my third convention in a year and I usually don't do more than one or two. The cost was a bit of a problem. Now, while I can squeak out the amount that's necessary to get me through the doors and even to stay in a basic hotel and feed myself, the problem is once I figured in the amount that it costs to rent the table, stay at a slightly nicer hotel closer by so that I'm able to easily go set things up and take them down when necessary, plus the additional cost of, well, basic swag to get people's attention so they can see what our table's about and hopefully, again, spread the word to Trekkies they know. Well, what would normally have been a few $100s and then whatever I wanted to spend for autographs turn into nearly 1,000 and then slightly more. And so I started a GoFundMe to see who could give me a hand and help me get the table, the supplies, the things I needed to make sure that this vendor table would stand out, and so would our message. And so I asked you, my viewers, to help me wherever you could. And I have to say, I've had an incredible number of anonymous donors that got me this much closer. And then I had some great viewers who were happy to share their names, and you can see those over here, who helped me get this far. And then when I figured in the fact that my daughter, my sister, and myself would all be staying in a hotel room, but my husband wouldn't be coming, which meant we didn't have to pay boarding and kenneling costs for our dogs, well, that brought the cost down, which got me to this number. I'm now only $180 away from my goal. This is supposed to pay for everything, including the table, including posters, cards, hats, shirts, pens, pencils, paper, organizers so that I can keep the signed letters and the unsigned letters separate. Just little things to make sure that the table runs smoothly. And again, so people will take notice that we are there for Legacy. In fact, just yesterday, I put in an order for 200 plus hopefully 200 bonus silicone bracelets that say Star Trek Legacy that I hope to pass out at the convention to people who stop by. And again, get that word spread right there at the convention. So hopefully more people will come over, sign letters. I'll have an incredible number of letters to send good old Tom Ryan. Hope he enjoys them and hopefully get us that much closer to Star Trek Legacy being created. Now, while I have been placing orders for different things, and I think that the posters and cards to pass out are the last things I need, my hats came. I want to show you real quick how those look. Now, admittedly, I'm not normally a hat person. I got shirts for myself, but it came out very nicely, I think. This artwork, this logo was created by Romy, and I apologize if I'm not saying your name correctly, but this is ours. It is not for sale. We will not be selling any of these. And to make sure that it's not mistaken as legacy swag strictly, I, of course, included our Letters for Legacy underneath it so that it is distinguished. This is who we are. This is why we're there. And this is going to be handed to any of the volunteers who don't want a shirt, who help us out at our table, at least until supplies last. So here is your part of the mission. We need as many people as we can to share the idea of Star Trek Legacy on social media. We need our Star Trek fans to know that this show is a distinct possibility if we ask for it loud enough. After all, if it'll make money, Paramount's going to buy into it. And if it comes with fans ready to watch, takes out half the work for them, which in turn could mean dollar signs for them. So we need to continue with those hashtags on social media. We need to spread the word to fans everywhere so that we are all talking about it. We need to encourage fan art wherever we can and tagging Paramount to let them know that this is how much we are invested in this show. And we also need to send those letters. If you're willing to sit down and write out your thoughts about legacy, or if you haven't written a letter in a while and aren't sure where to start, please make sure you visit Letters for Legacy website. That'll be included in the links below, and it's easy to navigate. We have templates in case you don't feel comfortable writing a letter. We have letter writing advice in case it's just been a while since you've written one. And of course, this all includes the address as to where you should send it to. Again, our Mr. Tom Ryan, CEO of Paramount Plus. And if you can, please help me get just that little bit much closer to my goal, helping to ensure that I can get those posters and cards to, again, make sure that my table stands out as a Star Trek legacy table, and hopefully get Trek fans to stop by, take a look at our mission, and hopefully sign a letter that I get to send in later. If you can't help out monetarily, then please do what you can to share our message. Rather, it's sharing my GoFundMe, which will again be in the links below, sharing our Letters for Legacy website so people can send in their own letters, including you, and of course, keep posting on social media. Really, at this point, it's up to us to make sure that legacy doesn't get lost in between all of the business decisions that Paramount is yet to make, which could affect all of Star Trek. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this video. If you'd like to see one of my Trek updates, please check out any one of those. Thank you for listening, and thank you for helping to spread the word.